this is the big question that everybody's asking me. Most people want to be able to skip Magic, and then other people are giving me ridiculous questions like, well, now that Magic is in the game, can I not upgrade Astonishing X-Men and work on my Uncanny X-Men? Like I feel like there's this big disparity between skipping the character entirely and people now fully upgrading Phoenix and neglecting their Astonishing X-Men. Put it into perspective, please.
So the bottom line is the raids are where you're getting the steel gear. If you don't get access to the steel gear, you are going to fail in your progression.
So at best, what does Magic do? She's a war team, right? At best.
At best, she has some functionality: war offense, war defense.
And that is not the same as Doom raids at all. Like
not at all.
Now I'm going to go a step further. Is Doom raids more important than Arena?
Yes. Now,
yeah, I mean, it's so like, please understand that the importance of Magic is restricted to her importance in her game mode, and I don't know how important she is in war, anyways, compared to Weapon X or Eternals or Heroes for Hire, or any of those teams, right? So it's a different benchmark, right? And I think people got to put this in perspective. Is she good? Is she useful? I suppose. Definitely, if you have like Dark Phoenix, if you have a fully maxed out Uncanny X-Men and you want to revitalize that team and make it considerably better, Magic will do that. But if you don't have that team, I don't know what the point of her is. If you don't have if you don't have Phoenix maxed out and Colossus maxed out and Storm and Cyclops,
I can tell you, she's realistically designed to help newer players who are buying that X-Men pack make better use of their X-Men, right?
Well, so it basically makes Phoenix not irrelevant is what all she does, really. I mean, that was a dumpster team at this point, and now she makes them. It almost reminds me of like a Wave 1 Avengers rework.
Exactly, but Wave 1 Avengers was I think more new player friendly than this is. But I will say something. She reminds me of Beast, a support character coming to an older team that might be transitioned to a new team later on.
Some people call her She-Hulk.
She's not She-Hulk because
I don't think She-Hulk was garbage in my opinion. But anyways,
so she's actually a great character. The problem with that is whenever you take her into like a war team, you have to have her built up like your other war teams.
Yeah.
So she's going into X-Men that are what 3 years old at this point.
So then let's talk shop then. Where do you see her to be most useful in war on offense against what team?
So I do think that I'm going to be doing some more advanced testing today. She's probably right at the bottom of the top 5 for Uncanny X-Men. So that makes her a better flex team than most of your other war teams, right? She's not going to counter any of the top 4 or 5 meta.
Nope.
She's kind of their flex. But on defense, they can give you headaches if you misjudge how to play them.
Yeah.
We did have some Secret Avengers lose to them, even though they probably should have a relatively easy time. Bigger Magic definitely means a lot more damage. And
I had impressive results with her outside of Eternals type teams. You know what I mean? Like symbiotes punch up big against symbiotes. I used to see a lot of that hybrid, like Phoenix Colossus with the 3 members of the Astonishing X-Men. Jubilee, Beast, and Bishop. Like it punched up 200k against that. Weird mercenary teams, that have like Zemo and Silver Surfer punching up against them. I mean, a lot of teams, just not Eternals, not Infinity Watch, not none of the big teams. It's like I think you're right in saying she's like about a top 5 team. I mean, I think that's about the right place to put her, top 5.
Yeah, probably. So she's right at the end of your flex for your counters.
So does that answer the question? Should I skip her? Yeah, it's like I don't know. Like I think if you want to make use of your Phoenix team in war and have some like revitalize this team, I think it's a no-brainer. For me, it was a no-brainer to upgrade her and start working on her.
So what's interesting about this is, Liz, in Marvel Strike Force, they kind of been releasing characters that were really powerful. And so everybody was having to buy these new characters because they were like there was like this power. Every single patch, it was a new power team was changing a meta somewhere in the game. And so these characters come out, and I think, and this is my take on this patch, is this is actually a great patch because you can kind of take a look at your roster and decide what you need. And so my roster, I upgraded Magik because I'm one of those knuckleheads who have I have a million and 1.2 million uncanny X-Men with Magik already. Right. So that's like a probably not what everybody else has. So they're going to do different things than what you want to do. And the investment level should not take away from your X-Men. So if you're working on your X-Men for the raids, do not stop.
Please do not prioritize this over Astonishing X-Men. And you know what? You really do need Jubilee. You really do need Kitty and Iceman. You just do. I don't know what to tell. If you want to do, here's the thing. I mean, it depends on where your alliance is. If you're holding your alliance back in mutant nodes, you have to upgrade those characters. I mean, I don't think you need to upgrade them if they're not. It depends on where your alliance is, right? But
you have no idea that whole. So when we started doing our forecast section, where it talks about what you're doing for raids and what you're doing, the single biggest impact was what raid you're completing.
For getting through Dark Dimension 5, yeah, for sure.
Well, not even that. I mean, just period. The amount of resources you're getting from raids, they've tied a lot more. And I think we said that to him, right? We wanted more. We wanted raids to feel the juice.
And hence the question that I asked you earlier: is it more important than arena? It almost feels that way.
100%. But again, I think arena is probably when you have until you can build 5 meta teams, you focus on arena. Because you wanted to have an arena team, which is what's great I think about the Eternals is they're going to fit into the raid meta.
You want to shift to something else?
Yeah, we'll talk a little about it. So I mean, so obviously we can talk about the Web Warriors.
Why don't we shift to this datamines? What do you think of all these datamines?
Oh God! So you know what I think? I told you about what I think.
Yeah, let's go. I mean, let's talk about the tower mode first.
First thing I want to shout out Tana. I mean, he's doing a lot of work for him.
This is a lot of data mines, right, from Tana, right?
So what he does here is he goes in, he digs in, and looks at the code, and he looks for little hidden things, and I think that
you're better at that than I am. I've tried doing that, and it's a hassle. Going through the JSON file is not that much fun. I've done a bunch of it, and I know you can do it, but he really just loves doing it.
Well, the data mining is doing the extraction and getting all the JSON and identifying the files and all that stuff. He's doing all of that. Like if you hand me a JSON file, I can probably go through it and look for
but even he said that he had to have help from somebody else. It's just so much data. It takes several people to find the parts because basically the developers, they know it's scrapable, but they don't really want us in there. But they, I don't think they meant to leave like the tower stuff in there. I think that was accidental. I mean, what do you think?
I think they're smart enough to know that's going to build that's going to be something that
it's a way of them creating like a miniature press release without having a press release, right?
So I think when it's like left in there, like the tower mode, they don't have to give us a date. They don't have to tell us what they're working on.
Because it wasn't meant for us to look at. I mean, but it's in the data mine, and data mine is not always, doesn't always happen. Although Marvel Strike Force data mines have been more predictable than other games by far. By far, I mean, other games will put stuff in there and it never happens. Almost everything's happened in the data mines. That I want to say it's like they're like 90% accurate most of the time.
Yeah, I think the last time they were really inaccurate was the Cyclops and Beast changes because it took a while to get to the game, and some of the other data mines were
that's like 2 years ago almost too, though. Yeah,
like Spider Supreme and stuff like that. That might have been like a placeholder character for something they might have been shipping to Marvel. The only thing I always get concerned about is sometimes there might be spoilers for because this is a tie in the MCU. But other than that, like tower mode is we've been begging for that for a year or two.
We don't have like other than the initial campaigns, which everybody eventually completes, and like the daily challenges, which everybody completes. In your day-to-day process right now, do you have a single player PvE mode when you're not running Dark Dimension? Think about it. No, we don't. And so this will fill that gap without a doubt.
And it allows them to so so one of the things I saw about the sheet was we're not getting enough gold. We actually backed into the formula 1 core equals 500 gold, and that's kind of been their like MO for what 2 years. Sure. So if you equate it to the gold orbs and whatever, we haven't seen an increase, and we've had 2 level cap increases. And so there's just not enough resources to upgrade your roster. There isn't. And so what's happening is, with that power creep, there was always this big influx of or big influx of new characters, and not enough resources to do it. And people are looking for skipping characters because they're out of resources.
So let's back up a second. There's skipping characters is always, I don't tell people to skip characters because of many reasons. They say, you told me to skip this and now I'm missing. But we're talking about, I mean, there's something called about
something important. So let me just tell you something. When we say, is it skippable, we don't mean you don't get it at all. You don't make an effort on it.
Yeah, we got to back up a little bit.
You need to target a 5-star period. If you're a free-to-play player, or you're a Kraken and you want to look for skippable, you have to target a 5-star, because that may be something that holds you back from legendary. Now, as far as like cores and that budget, and you have to kind of figure out, if you're free to play.
We're talking about. I think the word we want to use from now on is shelve.
Yeah, wow, that's probably the best option. Shelve a character.
Shelve a character. So you buy the character and then you shelve them. Shelve them. Yeah. So is Magik shelvable? Absolutely. Yeah. She probably is a good shelvable character. I think
time out. Hold on. Time out. This timeout's been brought to you by Marvel Strike Force. In your raid environment, you often have timeouts, so we want to make sure that we're gonna talk about that. No, but specifically, we're gonna have some fun with that too.
No, but Magik is shelvable for sure.
I feel like for the majority of people, I think most of the characters this patch, with the exception of the Web Warriors, are shelvable. Web Warriors are a must, right? Web Warriors raid team
eventually, yeah.
Better. Well, you've seen it. Bio nodes could be like, oh, this wasn't so bad, or holy, I can't believe I'm 900 cores deep into the raid. Why am I here? I hate this game. F this. Where are the Web Warriors?
And I stream that every day, and it's a mess. I stream the symbiotes every single day, and there's days I've been one-tapping the second node, right? Not some days. And then the other day I had a 3-tap on it, and I was like, what is going on? And like, sometimes you don't, they have some sort of variable in it. I don't know if it's 20% up, 20% down. I don't know.
Well, I said this very specifically. They built RNG to the raid. They built it so that a character will either get ability blocked or blind. They're not stupid. They have that mechanic with Surfer, where he's getting faster each turn. They built Surfer for them. Come on, they built Surfer for them, because when you're trying to build cooldowns, he's like, nope.
He's the most annoying character in 2.3 by far. Is Silver Surfer. Even on this, not the skill nodes. Oh my God, where sometimes you get stuck with 2 Silver Surfers, and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this or not.
Yeah, and I think that's the big problem is so there's random the fact that they're and I said this out loud.
Nothing sticks. They won't get nothing sticks to them sometimes. Like defense down won't stick to them, and it's just terrible. And they're going so fast.
I have a bias, and I think it's from what people tell me, it's probably a good bias. I tend to prefer Skirmisher overall else.
I understand. Everything's Skirmisher, man. Why not?
Everything's Skirmisher. Then it's Striker, and then probably Raider a close third. To Striker. But the reason is, especially when you look at the end game content, one thing they build is, and they learned that from the G14 mechanic, right? G14 with that everything was getting resisted. They built that into these raids, because then you have to build all your characters to kind of overcome that. So I think that's been the biggest reason why Skirmisher has been so valuable for me, because when things don't land, like if you don't land a blind on Surfer, and he nukes your entire team, then you go, oh well, I should have listened to Rem. I mean,
definitely makes things more predictable, and also you can control the board better. You can get rid of positive effects. You can set up strikers. There's a lot of great things. I mean, Skirmisher Striker combo is great, but running Skirmisher is it just kills me to run Skirmisher on characters like Symbiote Spider-Man, and I know a lot of people do.
Well, I mean, Symbiote Spider-Man, he does decent damage, but I mean, to be clear, he's extending debuffs. He is defense down is so important to get anti-venom fired up, because he's your first source of defense up most likely. So I mean, it's just or grabbing some of the other that stun if it misses. I mean, which it has for me. So this is the reason. Yeah. So I actually have my Web Warrior ISOs. You want to talk about them?
Yeah, that's what I say. Web Warrior. Let's go Web Warriors, and then let's go to T'Challa, because I mean, I have people asking me, is like, oh, how good are the Ravagers? It's like, I'm not building up the Ravagers. I'm gonna build up T'Challa, and if I get to the Ravagers, I get to it. But that's like the last thing on my list right now. People are talking about it like it's the best thing ever. I was like, for war, okay, I don't know for what. For what?
Well,
I don't know what they're gonna do.
You and I can't build Ravagers. Ravagers are probably left over from people who are year 1, year 2. This is a veteran patch, right?
Yeah.
And so I think people might have them at G12, and so we don't see a lot of G12 defenses where we are, right?
Yeah, that's the thing is I don't have the option of running gear 12 in war. I have to run 14s, and there's just no way that I'm upgrading those 4 other Ravagers. I'll take T'Challa just because I like his special ability up to 14, but the rest of it I can't do it. I absolutely can't do it. No way.
I'm probably taking T'Challa to 16, and I think that's probably something that I think. Fine. I think he's probably that good. So let's talk about his Web Warriors. So a real quick thing. There might be some confusion on Spider-Man's passive. I don't know if anybody's talked to you about this.
No. She's clarified. They're going to add the text.
Okay, so basically,
explain it to. I explained it to you. You can explain it to everybody. So go for it. Yeah.
You explained it to me.
No, well, they're going to add the first person takes an action before.
So it's like Daredevil's. Basically, what happened?
Daredevil, Black Widow. They just didn't put the text in. They're going to add the text.
So what happens with this is there's 2 problems. If you do the T4 on Spider-Man's passive, it'll look like you're taking him from 116 to 122 speed. And so when we were looking at it,
it's not.
Yeah, so it's actually not. And so what happens with that is and you do want, by the way, that is going to be a passive you're going to want to get. It's probably one of the more important ones.
Correct.
So what'll happen is you're going to get that speed. And so if you're trying to figure out the order of operations, they actually built the Web Warriors kind of intelligently. They have a very they have a cadence of operations.
But it means he's going to go after them, not before them.
No, so here's the thing. A lot of nodes have faster characters where he'll probably go enough to be able to land the defense down. Miles is going to put the disrupt. He has all the built-in focus, and then he's going to do the defense down. Most of the nodes we're going to be using him on in the raid he's going to be landing defense down, or you're going to want to use his stun. So I think it's Miles as a striker. He's probably the only striker because he gets to clear up to 6 debuffs with his striker attack.
They're going to add so what we're saying is they're going to add this text.
Yes.
So this text is not in game right now, but this is the way that it works, and this is going to be a text fix. Is slated according.
It's bigger than that. It's currently a visual bug. If you did the T4,
because that's right. It shows up in this in-game stats.
Yeah. So that's actually a big deal. So it's actually and that's the problem is there's things like this.
That drives me insane, right? No, I know, but they're gonna have to add this, and they're gonna have to change that so it doesn't change it in game. Yeah,
and I think there's a couple pieces of the puzzle. Like I have to dig in on some of the stuff, but I'm Striker, Skirmisher on Spider-Man, and Raider on the rest because of all the stuff that the crits do and how much they're going to be doing insane damage.
Yeah,
and while they do have debuffs that they have to rely on, once they get defense down and offense up, it's better than having Skirmisher on them. And so all you have to do is land 1 defense down on a character, and you have a better version of Skirmisher. So as long as Spider-Man lands the early defense down on a target, you're going to be able to get that taken care of.
Okay, and so the thing is I'm definitely interested in this team. I'm not skipping them at all. I'm going to be shelving them because I was almost a 900k symbiotes. At what power level is this team going to be as effective as a 900k symbiotes? 600k, 700k, 800k. Guess what? That takes a lot of time.
So I'm going to tell you the honest. So what's cool about the team is they only take 36 mini unique G16.
So you're going to take them into.
So I will be going into the city section when Ghost Spider's released, or when Scarlet Spider. So I'm taking Ghost Spider and Scarlet Spider.
Okay.
So I think because then I have the alien spores and the Oz, and I do think they're going to make a big difference.
Okay.
Remember, I do things so you don't have to.
Oh my God, yeah, like Magik. And then let's talk about Ravagers and Star-Lord T'Challa, right?
I got a 7 red star Yondu, and it's very interesting. He's bugged, right?
I did not know that. No.
Yeah, so if you take a look at Yondu right now, welcome to the bugs. We've discovered and shout out to KJ Nava was made me aware of it right away. Basically, he is his summons aren't getting Stark Tech. They added that way back when, and so his summons weren't affected by it when they made the change, and they must have reverted some of the old changes. So his summons aren't getting the health. If you summon them and they look like they're pushovers, it's a big deal.
Well, the problem with that is that they tune and test these characters with the bugs, and then we find a bug that drastically makes the characters better. Then what? Does it throw everything off?
Well, and so I don't think this team is going to be like this. So let's be very clear. The Ravagers, and I'm going to say this out loud. I believe that with Magik, I think she's flipping the immunity on a team like Black Order. I think she actually allows the X-Men. I got to do some testing on it, but I think she allows the X-Men to take on Black Order. I think this team is designed to take on Black Order. I'm not sure how far they punch up, but I don't think people want to make an investment in this team. And I think it's just kind of a placeholder for T'Challa for now.
Yeah, I think it's great if you love them and you want to upgrade them, but for me, upgrading the difference between this and Magik is that Magik's team was already upgraded. It was already done. And where Star-Lord's team, it needs a lot of love, a lot of red stars, a lot of gear. And for me, I gear tier 12. Can you go back to
that for a second? What was that? So if you guys are just tuning in, so he actually has Yondu. You have the ions equipped, but you don't have the ISO promoted.
I don't know. Because I didn't know what he was gonna. I didn't know.
I got it.
I was pre upgrading him without knowing what I wanted him to be, skirmisher or whatever.
So I have a question for the devs. Maybe you can relay it to the some additional chats for being. Basically, right now, he is the way that I think that the current steel mechanic works, with the exception of T'Challa, is they copy the buff and then remove it. So it's two separate actions, right? So is that correct? Because it seems to be that way, like with Black Widow, right? She can copy the buffs.
You're talking about this right here, right?
Yeah,
passive.
Can they resist the steel portion of it, right? So it looks like copy, and so it looks like copy. Yeah, copy doesn't look like resistible. I don't think that's resistible. I think that the removal is resistible, and we did see the removal get resisted on occasion.
Does Black Widow ever not get the buffs?
I believe it. I believe she gets the buffs, but removal
I have to look, but I think I remember her not getting buffs.
Yeah. Well, this is it, because the way
Taskmaster has this ability also, right, with his base.
Yeah, but so if you look at this, it says copy, because it looks like it's separate. Well, look at Taskmaster's basic or passive.
Yeah. Taskmaster. Let's see here. I don't know. I'd have to do more testing, but
and this is something that I wish I was party to a recent call, because this is my burning question for it too. I probably should have submitted it. So passive. That's steel.
Yes, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I gotta run.
Okay.
And I wanted to say thank you so much for having me.
No worries. Thank you for enduring our MSF chat. I mean, you're kind of, we're complaining about bugs in a video game. I mean, you're probably biting your tongue and laughing at the poor CM over there that has to deal with the headaches.
I sympathize with them.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, thank you so much again.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you again. Happy holidays, and we'll talk soon.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Check out Dragon Champions.
Yeah, I think to your point is that steel is different than copy.
Mm-hmm. So I think they wrote it a little bit differently, and I think that's probably the big difference on there. So we'll have to watch for that too. So I think they made it different. So it's copy and then remove. So it's probably a different interaction.
Yeah, I don't know. That's way too theory crafting techie for me. You know how my brain shuts off at some of that at some point.
Well, then that makes them a lot more viable at lower stars, is if they don't have to do that.
See, this says copy and clear. It does not say steal.
Yeah. So I think that's the big difference. So copy and so I think copy and clear is like two separate actions. But the way they wrote it in Yondu's was it was two separate lines in there. So I think it was two separate actions. I think hers was only copy what you clear. So I've got to double check that, because you know what, it's been a little while since I dug into that. I just noticed that she murders stuff on her new team, and so I just laugh when things fall over when she hits somebody.
Right.
So so this has been a kind of interesting patch, and I feel like from a perspective of do they take too big a bite out of it before they went on vacation? You think there's a lot of stuff? You think there's a lot too much going on? I like this patch for the players. I think
I think the patch gives people an opportunity to shelve characters. You see, I like that word so much better. To shelve characters and then work on characters that they want to, right?
Wait a minute. So this is the holiday version of Elf on a Shelf.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what that game is, but anyways, I've heard of it.
That's not a game. That's not a game. That's like if you have kids, you know what Elf on it's a newer thing. Newer younger kids. Elf on a Shelf. The elf comes around Thanksgiving and so it watches your kids, and then it moves around. It has the spirit of Christmas and disappears when Santa comes down your chimney.
Okay.
So you taught me Yeet. I taught you this one. Sounds like I'm
familiar with the idea. I just don't know all the rules to it. I don't have an elf on my shelf right now.
Yeah, well, you do now. It's magic.
Oh, there you go. Anything else on this patch you want to talk before we wrap it up?
No, I think this is it. I mean, like I said, I think it's take a look at your roster, make careful choices. Web Warriors are not a trap. I think they're going to be long-term good.
Yes.
I don't think I think when a team like them come out, I don't think it's long before you see them utilized in another game mode, or that a new raid comes out.
Yeah, Web Warriors are designed for something else. For something harder for sure, right? Like something that symbiotes will not be able to do, and you're going to be like, now. It almost gives people opportunity to skip symbiotes if they don't have them.
And that's what's great about it, right? Is you've got to. I mean, it looks like we're looking at a couple of data mined events. So depending on their accessibility,
what if we're saying all of this without actually playing them and they're not good?
I think, aren't there some playtests coming out soon?
Hopefully, nobody actually knows that they're amazing.
I heard some rumors. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Maybe today.
We'll have to see.
Yeah. All right. That'll do it for today, right? Are we all done?
Yeah, we got to wrap up the podcast. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff. So we'll have all the links where to find us. You guys will have them below, so you can take a look at all the podcasts when they get them uploaded. And if you guys like the format, we'll have some more guests. We'll be announcing our next week's guest later on during the week on our streams and on our YouTube channels. So stay tuned. It should be a good one.
Bye for now.
Dude, this is just way too many characters. I'm not cool.
I have questions.